Hey everyone, we're Group 13, and we have Dorthea Orem's self-care model. And it's a good thing you saved the best for last, because Dorthea Orem's theory is awesome. So I'm going to go talk to Wendy and see what she's found out about Dorthea. Hey Wendy, what are you up to?
Hey Katie, I just made this awesome PowerPoint on Dorthea Orem. Do you want to check it out?
Definitely.
Okay, Dorthea Orem had the self-care model. She was born in 1914, and just some history on her. In Baltimore, Maryland, she received a diploma from Providence Hospital School of Nursing and her bachelor's from Catholic University of America in nursing education. She earned her master's in nursing education in 1945, and early in her career she worked in hospitals and later focused on teaching, research, and administration. Job titles she held at various hospitals and institutions included being a nurse, an assistant professor, curriculum consultant, a dean, and director of nursing.
Dorthea began to develop her theory in the 1950s. She was a pioneer in the development of distinctive nursing knowledge. The first edition of her book, Nursing: Concepts of Practice, which is now in its 6th edition. She was influenced by many other scholars by reading about a wide range of other fields and acknowledged their impact. Such scholars included Arnold, Kordobinsky, Parsons, and Lonergan.
Shaping of the self-care model, she got her ideas from her experience as a nursing consultant after being exposed to nurses and their endeavors. This led to the idea of nursing involved both a mode of thinking and a mode of communication. Involvement, practice, and care of nursing influenced her. She states that it is posited that life experiences of nursing theorists, their observations and judgments about the world of nursing, can and do result in insights about nursing that can lead to descriptions and explanations of the human healthcare service nursing.
She focuses on specific nursing actions that are different from other healthcare professionals. She identifies nursing as a science and an art. The framework can be used in many different settings and age groups. She focuses on what matters to the nurses and how it helps. Nurses hold a nursing perspective in the multidisciplinary environment of healthcare. She highlights the importance of the person by considering the patient's perspective of health status. Those are her contributions of her theory in the nursing field.
And this is Dorthea's definition of nursing. It is an art through which the nurse, the practitioner of nursing, gives specialized assistance to persons with disabilities of such a character that more than ordinary assistance is necessary to meet daily needs for self-care and to intelligently participate in the medical care they are receiving from the physician. The art of nursing is practiced by doing for the person with the disability, by helping him to do for himself, and or by helping him to learn how to do for himself. Nursing is also practiced by helping a capable person from the patient's family or a friend of the patient to learn how to do for the patient. Nursing the patient is thus a practical and didactic art.
I know everyone knows about the 4 paradigms of nursing, but let's just go through them one more time. Person is an individual or a multi-person unit. It includes families and communities. The patient is an adult who can no longer adequately care for him or herself, or a child whose parent or guardian can no longer provide adequate care. It includes self-care, deliberate actions to maintain health.
Environment, the ability to provide self-care is learned through the environment. Humans are never isolated from the environment. This also includes physical, chemical, biological, and socioeconomic culture factors.
Health is characterized by wholeness of human structures and bodily and mental functioning. It is the deliberate action to maintain self-care and the care of dependents.
Nursing, one who helps others with their therapeutic healthcare demands. It is also needed when a person has imbalance between self-care abilities and self-care needs.
Wow, Wendy, that was a great PowerPoint. I wonder if YouTube has anything to show for us.
I don't know, Katie. Let's check it out and see. Oh, here's a video on Dorthea Orem. Let's check it out.
Hey everybody, Harry here. Hey, we have a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about Dorthea Orem and her general nursing theory. First off, Dorthea Orem what a name, right? More sounds like a realm from Narnia than anything. Well, we have some specialists that are going to be helping us out today. Please welcome Thelma and Beatrice. Hey, gals.
Hi, Harry.
Well, guys, to start off, the nursing theory kind of gets confusing, so let's start off with some general assumptions, okay?
Well, the major assumptions that you need to understand in order to understand Dorthea Orem's theory is that people should be self-reliant and responsible for their own care, and they should also be responsible for the care of others if their family cannot take care of themselves. You also need to understand that people are distinct individuals, and you should treat them as such. You should not treat all patients the same. You also need to know that nursing is a form of action, and it is an interaction between two or more persons. And successfully meeting universal and developmental self-care requisites is an important component of primary care prevention and preventing ill health, which we'll talk about more later. A person's knowledge of potential health problems is necessary for promoting self-care behaviors. If you don't know what's wrong with you, you can't help yourself to get better. And finally, self-care and dependent care are behaviors learned within a socio-cultural context. The older you get, the more you learn about how to take care of yourself.
Wow, guys, that's some real interesting stuff you got there. Now, there's one thing that I'm concerned about. We have one major theory, but there's like 3 different theories that come into it. Tell me about that.
That's right, Harry. There are 3. The first one is the theory of self-care. The second one is the theory of self-care deficit. And last is the theory of nursing systems.
Wow, cool. Well, tell me more about this self-care stuff.
Well, Harry, I think I'm going to call up Dorthea Orem from the Beyond and find out what she has to say about that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Dorthea. She defines self-care as the practice of activities that individuals initiate and perform on their own behalf in maintaining life, health, and well-being. Thanks, Dorthea. That was great.
Now, wait a second. Hold on. What if a baby falls out of a tree? How does that work into this?
Well, Harry, that relates to her self-care agency, which is the human ability to maintain health, which a baby does not have because it can't maintain its own health. Also, that is distinguished from an agent, which is the person who has the ability to perform the action or who actually performs the action. It also addresses the question, what are all the self-care actions that should be performed by the individual over time to maintain life, health, and well-being? Next, we're also going to discuss the therapeutic self-care demand that she talked about, which is all self-care actions put together to maintain health, which the baby also does not have.
Oh, wow. So, is that like all my daily activities, like brushing my teeth and combing my hair, and then possibly smothering myself in brown relish and mustard, just being delicious? Are those relevant to what you're talking about?
Well, you kind of just touched on the self-care requisites that Dorthea Orem talked about.
Oh, good.
There are 3 types of requisites or requirements for action: universal, developmental, and health deviation. There are actually 8 universal self-care requisites.
That's right. The first one is air. Second one is water. Third is food. Fourth is elimination. Fifth is the balance between activity and rest. Fifth is the balance between solitude and social interaction. Seventh is the prevention of hazards. And last is the promotion of health, human functioning, and the desire to be normal.
Sorry to call people out here, but that sure as hell sounds like Maslow's hierarchy of needs to me. But whatever, Dorthea, whatever. Continue.
Well, the next self-care requisite or requirement is the developmental self-care requisite, which is the adjustments that must be made according to new situations. So, when you're younger, you don't need to eat a lot of food because you have a smaller stomach and a lower amount of calorie needs. But once you get older and you become an adult, you have a larger amount of calorie needs. So you need to adjust your developmental self-care requisites to be able to accompany your newer, larger amount of calorie intake. And the next type of self-care requisite is the health deviation self-care requisite, which is once the person is sick, they need to seek help, take medications, and they need to be able to live with the side effects of those medications and their illness, and they need to learn about the illness, because if they want to get better, they have to take care of themselves and learn about what's wrong with them.
Well, oh boy, you're talking about all this self stuff, but I haven't even heard anything about the nurse. It's a nursing theory. Come on, guys. How does the nurse get involved in this?
Now, Harry, that's with her next theory, the theory of self-care deficit.
Sorry, I just jump ahead sometimes.
This is when you specify when nursing is needed, which is when someone can't take care of themselves. This is when the nurse acts, guides, supports, teaches the patient while providing an environment that promotes learning and development. We're also going to call Dorthea up on this one and ask what she says self-care deficit is.
Jesus Christ.
Hi, Dorthea. She says that self-care deficit is the relationship between self-care agency and the therapeutic self-care demands of individuals in which capabilities for self-care, because of extent limitations, are not equal to meeting some or all of the components of their therapeutic self-care demands. Thanks, Dorthea. That was great.
Wow, that is extremely convenient talking to the dead. So wait a second. Does the nurse do everything for the patient? Like, everything? I don't get it.
Well, according to her theory of nursing systems, which is the third part of her general nursing theory, this describes how patients' needs will be met by the nurse, the patient, or both. And there are three different systems: the wholly compensatory, the partly compensatory, and the supportive educative system. In the wholly compensatory system, the nurse does all the actions to take care of the patient. They provide therapeutic care, they compensate for the patient's inability to engage in self-care, and they support and protect the patient. In the partly compensatory system, the nurse does some actions and the patient does the other. So they work together to perform self-care and take care of the patient's overall health. And finally, the supportive educative system, which is what we want to move all of our patients toward, is when the patient accomplishes their own self-care and the nurse just regulates the exercise and development of the self-care agency that we talked about earlier.
Oh wow, guys. Now, hold on. I'm just curious. I just got my hip replaced, and gosh, like I only needed help moving around, but I could do my teeth. I could eat. I could again put relish and mustard all over my body. Well, where would I fall into?
Well, Harry, you would fall into the partly compensatory system because you can perform some of your self-care actions yourself, but you need help moving around and getting used to that new hip, and that help can come from the nurse.
Wow, guys, that was so helpful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Well, guys, we laughed, we cried, we talked to the dead. It was pretty awesome. We had a wonderful time, and thanks for tuning in. Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win.
Wow, Wendy, that was a really great video on Dorthea Orem.
It sure was, Katie. I really liked Beatrice.
Well, I really liked Thelma. She was really intelligent, I think.
She was.
Hey, I wonder where Nicole is. Let's go find out. Hey, Nicole, what are you up to?
Hey, guys.
Hi.
I'm just researching some stuff about Dorthea Orem's theory.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell us about it.
Well, in applying the theory, like in the acute care setting, if a patient's admitted to the med-surg unit with frequent diarrhea and is diagnosed with a Crohn's disease exacerbation, the role of the nurse is to acknowledge that the patient has a disruption in his ability to care for himself. There is an imbalance between the patient's self-care abilities and the patient's demand for self-care. The imbalance is in the category of adequate care and functioning of elimination. Therefore, the patient requires nursing care. The nursing care is designed to improve the patient's ability to provide self-care by either acting or doing for another, guiding and directing, like by assisting the patient to the bathroom frequently, providing physical or psychological support, like IV therapy to compensate for dehydration due to diarrhea, providing and maintaining an environment that supports personal development, or teaching. In the community setting, each community consists of families with various cultures and different types of child-rearing styles. Self-care techniques differ depending on which self-care practices an adult was taught as a child. An adult Asian woman may choose to use the hot-cold theory and delay health care at the onset of a cold, while the daughter of germophobic parents may feel the need to go to the doctor right away. Or across the lifespan, like if a 74-year-old man has just moved into a nursing home. He previously lived alone and cared for himself. Recently, his ability to care for himself effectively has declined due to his worsening rheumatoid arthritis. In this case, the man would need nursing care due to a self-care deficit. Or for nursing education, the nurse needs to be taught the importance of identifying the self-care deficit in the patient. Nurses should be taught the various ways to help the patient by improving their healthcare deficit, and teaching is an important role in the nurse in order to teach the patients how to best care for themselves.
Wow, that was fascinating. I mean, wow.
I thought so too.
I feel like I just really understand how to apply her theory now.
Good, me too.
All right, let's go find out what John's doing. Where has he been anyway? Where is John?
Oh, hey guys, didn't see you there. Just catching some fresh air. Well, thanks for coming by and listening to our show. I hope you had a good time. We're going to be asking you a few brain buster questions, so I hope you remember everything I said. Well, guys, take it easy and have a wonderful day. Comes with
baseball season's under.